See, we wanted to know about the basic differences between a bug, a defect, and a failure, error. So these are the four basic things. If you understand it, the remaining things it will be fall into this one. Now, what do you meant by a bug? See, for an example, last time also we have been discussed on a bug. What is the difference between a bug and the defect? So both are termed very near, but why it means, what is the basic differences are there? First of all, first we understand what is a bug. Bug is nothing but, if at all there is a deviation from the expectation, then it is called a bug. Now, I entered the username, I entered the password, I clicked the login button. The expectation is to go to the home page. If this is not navigated to the home page, there is a deviation. So then this is called a bug. Not only this one. So you take any functionality as per the expectation, if it is deviated, then this is called a bug. All the QA people refer this one. If they identified any particular thing, they will be referring this one as a bug. But when a development team identifies something, they will refer this as a defect. The defect definition is also same. If there is any particular deviation, then this is called a defect. But this would be referred with the developers. Developers usually refer this one as a defect, and the testing team will refer this one as a bug. So that is where the basic differences between a bug and the defect. But the definition of them both are same. Reference by the team, it differed whether it is a bug or the defect. So any particular deviation, if it happened, so then that particular deviation would be referred as a bug. And bug will be defined as from the QA people, and the defect would be defined as from the developers. So now we do have the bug lifecycle. It means on Saturday we have been discussed on this particular bug lifecycle. What are the different phases we do have it, and on this particular different phases, so how we will be working on this. So we have been discussed, right? So one is new and open, and then
fixed,
and
retest,
then a retest and
close.
close. So now when it is retesting, it is open, then it is called as reopened, and then it will go to here. And when we have a new, so here itself we can analyze the thing, and then it is not a valid bug. So then it will come
then
to the close. And then if it is the bug is duplicated, when the same bug someone has been written, then it will go to the closed. And then this is as per the spec, means as per the specification or the requirement, then once again this would be closed. So now from directly from new places, it will come to here. So new, open, fixed, retest, and doing it. Now this would be done by the QA, this would be done by the developer, this would be done by the developer, this would be done by the QA, and this would be done by the QA, because who have been rises, they'll be keeping it. And reopen also will be done by the QA. And these are depends upon the organization to organization, these phases. These are the general phases for any company, and they can add many things. Now not verified, and not a valid bug, and duplicated as per the spec. And another one is deferred. What do you mean by deferred? Okay, I said I will not ask you the question.
It has to be
deferred.
Deferred means it can be accommodated in the next phase, or it will be prioritized to be fixed according to the flow of the project. If it is very urgent, then they will do it. Otherwise, they will defer it.
Good. So now deferred means which we may not fix in this particular release.
Yes.
As this is based upon the priority, we will fix this particular thing in the next release. This is a bug, but still we will not fix now. So this would be an open bug. So this is what it is called as a deferred. This is one of the important interview question. What do you mean by deferred means? So now if you see here, so these are the phases, and these are the sub phases we will be having it, we'll have it. So now this is called bug lifecycle. And to maintain these particular bugs, we will be having BMG, bug management tools, or defect management tools. Now, what is this tools means? Example, we will be fixing this part, means we will be writing, hey, I encountered this particular bug, and this particular bug description is this. And when I have seen this one, so when I opened a browser and then enter the username, enter the password, click the login button, it didn't navigate it to the home page. These are the steps. Now, this is called as steps to reproduce. And in which environment it happened? It happened in the Chrome and 96 environment and Windows 10. So now this is the environmental details. These are steps to reproduce. Bug name, bug description, and bug priority and severity. This we will discuss later. And the next one is screenshot of that particular bug. So these all things would be added over here. So this is called bug logging. All these particular bugs would be logged into this particular bug management tools or defect management tools. What are the bug management tools we have it? We do have Zira, and we do have Bugzilla, Mantis,
VSTS,
uh,
ServiceNow.
TFS,
It
VST.
has TFS is further upgraded to VSTS, sir.
But okay, fine.
Yes,
So
I
now
used
these
it.
these all things are referred to the part of the into this particular Bugzillas. Means whenever you wanted to log the particular bugs, all the bugs would be logged into this. So this is how this particular bug management tool would be happening. So now coming back here, so now the bug, it can be termed as bug management or the defect management tools. So this is how this would be referred back. Now, what is an error? So now we know that what is a bug, what is a defect, and now what is this particular error means?
A mistake in the code.
Deviation from the
When
required.
developer writes a code, if any
Yes,
error in that
code
while execution,
I'll come one by one, not a group answers, please. Okay, go ahead, Shruti.
Oh, if there is any mistake in the code, we'll call it as error.
Cool. So now we have written, the developer has been written the code. In this particular code, so there is there is a mistake. So then this is called as error. So now whenever there is some flaws in the code written, so then that is called errors. And now what is failure? Failure.
Deviation from the
End user detected.
end users are facing any issue in the production.
It's called
It's
failure.
called a failure.
Any other answers?
If the build does not meet the requirements, then it's called failure.
Incorrect
Multiple
step in
issues will
making
lead to
process.
failure.
When a defect reaches the end customer,
Harshita,
Yes, sir.
what is failure?
Multiple issues, sir. We will see so many issues that lead to failure.
See, now when you say that some product for some application is failure, see now, when you say that a movie is failed, so now we have movies released. We have seen the movie, then we'll say that, hey, this actor acted well, and this villain acted well, and then the story was very good, the music was very good. So now when you have included all these particular components, then it make the movie success. When a failure will come, hey, hero doesn't look well, or the songs are not really good, the storyline is not well. So now
Acting was not
because of
okay.
all these things, based upon this, you'll say that if movie was failed. So a group of means multiple failures, multiple issues in the application will leads to an application to be a failure, a software application to be a failure. So that is called a failure. Okay, so now this particular these failures will occur because of more number of errors or more number of defects in the application. Actually, there is a very good diagram. I was searching for that particular thing. So this link has been not popped up. So in this particular link, they have been given a very clear cut with an example, and then the pictures. That particular picture was not there, and then the differences between those all we can see. That is what not there. So however, I'll share you that particular link once again. I'll check and then I'll share if it is up and running. In that particular link, it was very clearly shown that, hey, how the means that how the defects will be coming into this, and what are the different categories of this one. So those all informations would be there. You can see on this, that particular article. I'll share it to you later. Fine. So any questions in bug, defect, error, failure?
Sir, failure in that sense, can we understand that it is such a condition of the system when it becomes unusable? So much so defects comes in every level of the development, and it becomes unusable. That is failure.
That's it, right? So for an example, now you are using Ola or Swiggy. So now you book a cab, the cab was not booked, and the cab is not coming, and the driver accepted, but you didn't get the cab. You waited for 20 minutes. Will you book again? That's it. So now when there are a lot of failures, the application is unused. So now you will go to the Play Store and then you'll download the applications, right? How you download the application? You first see the reviews of the application. If you know some application, you'll not see it. Say for example, Amazon, Flipkart, you'll not do. For an example, you wanted to use some Bluetooth apps or some music apps. When you wanted to download that one, what the first thing you'll see? You'll see the reviews.
Yes.
Hey, out of how many reviews it is good, how many downloads are there, so can I download this, because there are many apps in the app stores. Which one you need to download, you will evaluate based upon reviews. Reviews will be given by the people, so whatever they have been faced the issues, they will be giving it there. So if it is 4.4 on the market, having 1 lakh downloads, then that's the best app which we can use it. According to that particular reviews, will download the same way. So now how that particular reviews will be given based upon their errors, defects, bugs, and usage of the application, they will be giving it. Not only this one, any product in the Flipkart, you are going to buy something, you'll see the ratings. In Amazon, you're buying something, you'll see the ratings. When you're placing an order, you'll see the ratings of the hotel. So how you do that? The same way you'll be looking after that. So here also, if there is more number of failures, the ratings would be very less, and the app would be not used, unused, and then it will be defamed and it would be removed from the market. So this is called, these are the things which it will be pointing into this. Okay, so what are the things we have been discussed? We discussed bug,
Sir?
defect. Yes.
Sir,
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are fault and failure are same?
No. There are
I
the
mean, I'm
difference.
asking the term.
See the difference between the fault. So that is where I just wanted to give you this particular thing. So the failure and fault. Actually, there is a diagram for that one. If you see that particular diagram, you can clearly understand it. You've seen it, right? So the errors will cause to a fault, and fault will cause to a failures. So fault and failures are not same. More number of faulty application, then this is called a failure application. I have been overlapped with from the error itself to the failure. So the basic differences, if you wanted to understand on that, fault is a mistake or error caused. Okay, fault because here they are not referring to the software, so that they are giving you at a high level. So fault is nothing but it's the errors in the if you have more number of errors, then it will lead you to a fault. More number of faults will lead you to a failure. That's how we need to read through that from the application. See, now you've seen it, right? More number of here, this particular image, more number of errors. Okay, the developer makes more number of errors, it will create the fault. So more number of faults will create to a failure of the application. So that's a basic, but fault is different, failure is different. So fault would be dealt or born because of more number of errors. That is what, right? For an example, you do a payment, the payment was not successfully happening. So when the payment was not successfully happening, so that's a code, means the error in the code. Because of that one, the payments are not happening. So now that will become a fault in the application, faulty application. And now once actually when it would be fault means when it reaches to the production. See now defect and bug, so those are before productions. Now when it reaches to the production, we will have the faults. More number of fault application leads to the failure of the application. For an example, rather than where we will not use fault in our software industry. We only use a defect and a bug. But where we use more the faults means in electrical gadgets, right? So electrical gadgets or manufacturing industry, some issue happen. Because of that issue, it will make to a fault, and that fault may leads to the complete product to the failure. Example, Tata Nano car, in terms of safety, it was not designed well. Even with a small ditch, it will come the burns in the engine. So now that is a fault. Because of that particular faults, it made that particular car to be failure, because the market didn't buy that particular cars anymore. So that is how the failures would be derived. But as of now, from the software point of view, what you guys need to understand is defect, bug, errors, and failure. So these four terminologies, if you have been understand it clear, then it would be done. So always you remember, more number of errors leads to more number of bugs or defects or faults, and more number of these things will leads the application to the failure. And difference between a bug, defect, error, we have been seeing it. And fault is nothing but because of more number of errors, it became the fault, and more number of faults, bugs, these things will get into the failure. So that's how you need to understand. Don't get into the details too much. It might be confused, because this is not specifically designed for these software terminologies, because this is a very general term. Across the industries, it would be used, manufacturing industries or fabric industries. If for an example, now you have Louis Philippe shirts, right? If they have buttons are not properly stitched, or if there is any particular misalignment of the stitchings, then that would be a faulty piece. More number of faulty pieces makes that failure of production, right? So there they use this faulty. So that's, you need to inline. So from the testing, from if it is from the software side, we will say that there are more number of defects, more number of bugs. More number of defects and bugs will leads you to failure. That's the reason I didn't talk about fault. I talked only about the defect and bug. But to understand you, to know that there are more number of mistakes in the code or errors in the code, that will lead to the fault. But both means everything will refer to the same. It's based upon the industries. Got it?
Sir, actually I'm confused. But suppose if we in a Amazon app or Amazon website, we don't, buying option or buying button is not working, then how we convey that either it is a fault or a failure? Because without buying button, we can't do anything in that app, right? So if we consider as a failure.
Now you need to answer me. Is it a failure or a fault or a defect or a bug? What is that, Rajesh?
I think it's a bug, sir.
That's it. That's what I'm keep on saying, that fault will not come into the software industry. Majoritarily, we'll call that one as defect or bug. Fault is, we will be using this one in the manufacturing industries or in any other industries that refer the same, but not into the software industry. We will use it as a fault. It is a bug. More number of bugs will cause it to the failure of that application. How, if there is no button, how it would be a failure? That's a bug. If I have more number of bugs in the production, then the application will go, means then the application will called as a failure. I given you the example of a movie, right? In the movie, hey, heroine not acted well, and the hero is not acted well. The story lineup is not well. There are many flaws. Because of many flaws, the movie will fail. The same way, if we have more number of bugs, then that particular application is failed. What's there to confuse here? Okay, any other questions? Okay, so we have been discussed about these particular bugs in this one. Now let's understand what is a test case. Oh, I said I will not ask you the question. Test case. See guys, when you are into the testing, without knowing a test case, your day will not go. Test cases are really very important part of your life. And what do you meant by a test case? Test case is nothing but, hey, you need to do some set of actions, and I'll be giving you a particular instructions. What I'm giving the instructions, hey, go through every day. You need to come here, go to the YouTube, go for this one, and then refer this particular channel, and then come back. There, the video you refer and come back. However, you'll not do that. I know that. If you are performing some action, we wanted to do that documented. Why should we need to do the documented? Consider that you are working today, and tomorrow you change from one organization to another organization. Then what you have been tested, the people should know it, right? Okay, I'll ask that, hey, test this application and come back to me. Now you will say that, hey, I completed this testing. How you will say that you have been tested? Then I'll need to ask, hey, did you cover all positive scenarios? Did you cover all your negative scenarios? Hey, did you cover your edge scenarios? You'll say yes, yes, yes. But will you keep remember, for an example, think like an Amazon size of an application. Will you know that, hey, in the payments, what are the test cases I have written and what are the things I have been tested? Will you know the things?
No.
Or if you come to a particular Excel sheet or Excel book, I'll write that, hey, I tested login functionality. I tested login functionality, both username credentials, right? True, 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 false. We discussed this one, and false, true, and false, false. We'll have it. Hey, I tested with right username, right password, right username, wrong password, right username, and wrong username, wrong password. I tested this. So now these 4 scenarios I have been tested this. So now, hey, this is positive scenario and these are the negative scenarios, right? So when I tested this one, it should throw me, hey, enter your right password. When you have tested this one, it will be saying that, hey, enter your right username. And when I tested this one, it will be saying that, hey, your username and password is wrong. Enter your right credentials. So now I'm validating these error messages. And here, when I have validated, I'll be going to the home page. Now, this is what the positive cases, and then these are the negative cases. Now, I should have to note down all these things, right? Which I have tested, which is not I have tested. I should know about these particular informations, right? How can I know that whether I have been tested this all?
Possibly.
So now, what is the status of this one? So now when I tested this one, so this test case is passed, or this test case is failed, or this test case is passed or failed. So how you will be knowing this one, the status of that particular test cases, and how you will
If actual meets expectation,
by
then
executing
it will
it.
be passed.
Expectation result is equal to 1.
So now I expected 100 scenarios like this. How you will remember that which test cases are passed, which test cases are failed?
It will be like linked with the requirement traceability matrix.
For knowing
Yeah.
for knowing the test case passed and failed, you will be linking with the traceability matrix.
As per the functionality description, will give the idea which test case will pass or fail.
Sujit, understand the question. I'm asking you that one, a test case is passed or failed. How I should know that? So now we said that actually equal to
Sir,
expected. Then
from
we have
the test cases in there itself, the action and expectations will be mentioned.
that
So
is
we
what.
have, yeah.
So now what is the point here I wanted to say is the importance of a test case to write, or why should we document a particular test cases, is what I'm trying to talk about here. See, test case is nothing but it's a specific actions or set of actions which need to be performed for the testing. And this particular thing will consist of, now the test case document will consist of, hey, what is a test case name, test case description, test case ID, and functional spec ID, and expected value, actual value, and then the pass fail status, the results. So these are the basic things which we will be having it. So test case is nothing but it's just a set of actions. See, for example, I've asked you to check for this login functionality. Now what you'll be doing it, hey, open a browser. Once you open the particular browser, so just go navigate to the URL, enter the username, enter the password, click the login button, and then verify whether you have reached the home page or not. So now I'll be just validating whether I have been reached to this one or not, right? So now these are the steps which we have been written in a test case. Okay, to show you sample, Sujit, did you written the test case?
Sir?
Did you written the test case?
Yes, sir, I have written it, but I have written it on my notepad. I was not knowing. Actually, I was not available on Saturday class because of some issue happened. I had conveyed it to Pina sir also, and I got this information from Harsha to write the test cases. I can show it over.
Swati, can you, did you written this one? Swati Gupta?
Yes, sir. I have written on my just A4 size papers here. I'll show
Okay.
it, sir. Once.
Fine, not required, guys. So can you, anyone written on the Excel sheet? I just
Yes,
wanted
sir.
to show you some sample.
Sir, I written. Shall I show?
Yes, can you share this one?
Yes. This is the test
Okay.
case.
If you see here, now what is a test case ID? So here we can see that particular IDs over here. Now the test case ID and module name. Okay, fine. So we can take the module names at a sheet level or this one. Okay, the SBI online banking and the scenario name viewing the home page. This is test case name or the title we can keep it. And actually we can keep this one as the test case name and then this one as a test case description, because here we are saying that, hey, view SBI homepage. Now this is an ID of the test case and this is the test case name, and then this would be the test case description. So now in the test case description, I'll be describing what exactly this particular test case has to be done. And here we'll be saying that steps to perform, okay, for test case. Now open here. Now first, how we need to write. Now directly you are saying that open URL. Where I need to open the URL? Open the Chrome browser. In the Chrome browser, navigate to this particular SBI online. Okay, give more as much as descriptive and understanding so that it would be easier. Now once you navigated to this one, so now you will be navigating to the personal banking login page, and so click on the personal banking page and enter the username and the password, enter the captcha and click on the login button. So now these are the steps you are going to perform on this one. Now what is the test data we are going to give? So here we are giving it the test data username. Okay, actually even in the URL you can give it that SBI online. So here you'll be giving it, right? So www.sbionline.com, and the next one is the username, and next one is the password, so which I need to pass it over here. So those details I'll be passing over here as part of test data. So now once I have been passed this particular test data, now what is my expected results? Hey, this is what I'm expecting it. So user should view the home page. See, this format is not right. Who's sharing the screen? Arshit. So you need to make sure that, so now these all steps should comes into this one. So now for this, you have different steps, and for this one, you have different steps. You need to combine these steps, this one separately, this one separately. Okay, Pina, you there?
Yes, Amma, I'm there.
Please share that particular test case template for them, Pina, and let them know how to write that particular test case once they will be writing on this one.
Okay, I will share.
Sir, in the scenario column, we sometime actually provide the test data details also. Since these dummy data details.
This is what here, right? We already have the test data. This column will have the test data details. See, in the scenarios, actually usually will not have the scenario here. Instead of scenario, you can consider that this is test case name. See, if you see here, he has given the test case name, and describing that particular test case is what this is called test case description.
Yes.
And the test steps for the test case here, these are the steps, and this is the test data which he wanted to pass it. So he just generally mentioned this way. So usually we shouldn't mention like this. It should be so descriptive.
Yes.
Your username, you need to give it as username equal to Chris123, and password 123. So that we need to give it like this. And URL, if you are giving it, that URL you need to navigate to this. So this is how we need to give that particular test data over here. Now, once I given this particular test data, this would be my expected, means user should see the home page. That's it, right? I navigated to the online and I entered into the login credentials. I entered the username and password, which I have been seen in this test data. Click the login button. What it should be expected? You should navigate to the home page. This is what we have been expected. So if you are now, this is what the expected results, and the actual result is that means when you actually performing it. So now when you're writing the test case, this is what your expectation, and when you have been actually performed that one, so at that time what it happened. So user, and we shouldn't write like this, same as ER. So now you need to write that. So user, see, now always you remember this would be your future tense, means this is going to happen in the future, and the user should be able to see, okay, should be able to see the home page and actual result. So that should be your past tense. Hey, user has reached to the home page. So that is what you need to mention in the actual result. And the status of this one is passed or failed. When we can decide the passed or failed is when the actual result matches with the actual result. So, sorry, expected result matched to the actual results, then this is called test case passed. And when the expected results not match with the actual results, then the test case is failed. See, I expected that it should go to the home page. If it is went to the home page, then I'm fine. If it didn't went to the home page, then I can't do anything, right? So then this test case is failed. So this is what expected to the past and expected to the fail. So this is how I'll be validating this one. So to understand that one, so what do you meant by a particular test case? Test case is nothing but it's a set of actions we will perform to test a functionality. Very simple definition. Now, a test case consists of a set of a clear-cut test case name, test case description, and the test case ID to have the unique. See, for example, now I do have two Swatis here in the class, then I'll be calling it as 001 Swati or 002 Swati. So I'll be appending with a particular number to uniquely identifying. So now that is called the test case identifier or test case ID. So now it will have test case ID, test case name, test case description, test steps, and test data. Test data. What do you mean by test data? The name itself, it was saying that test data. For testing some application, I required the data. That is called test data. So now the username and password, which I required, so that I'll be entering here. And what would be the expected values? So what I'm expecting out of this one. So that is what in the expected values. Hey, this has to be go for this. Hey, this is what I'm expecting. Once I enter this credentials, I should go to the home page. Or once I add the particular product, then it should be go to the add cart page. Now, that is what your expected result. And when you actually perform that one, then that would be your actual results. When the actual results are matching to your expected results, then the test case is passed. If the actual results are not matching to the expected results, then the test case is failed. That's it. This is a test case. You tell me, I asked you write for one simple test case. Will it take 15 minutes of time maximum? Maximum 15 minutes. You might be seeing my frustration and then my that I'm just shouting on the people. But you tell me on Saturday when I explained this, just to see a video on this one and then write one particular test case. Is it hard to do this one, guys? For this one, you people are telling me lot